Good day, guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time, please do not forget to like and subscribe. And if you get to the end of this video and you find it helpful, please your comments would be appreciated. And if you have questions, you can also leave it in the comment section. I would attend to it. And so we want to talk about parameterize in this video and how to use it. In the previous video, we've used the skip if and we've used the exfil. So let's just mark everything for now as skip, and we will go ahead and use the parameterize for just one particular scenario. So let me just use this again, pytest mark skip. So we are skipping the last three, while we just want to use the parameterize command here. So pytest mark parameterize. Now, to use the parameterize, what does it allow you to do? It allows you to reuse a particular method. And how do you get to do that? It's simply by just being able to pass in a list of tupled values. That means a list containing tuples of values. So you can repass it into the particular test. What do I mean by this? Take for instance, if we are on the home page and we could get here tops and hoodies, we can equally do the same thing for women, get to tops and hoodies, right? So if that's the case, why don't you just collect the elements for women and try to use it to achieve parameterization? So let's start. So I'm going to inspect this women, and this is it. I'm going to use the href. So I'll copy this and go into the code where my elements are. On the home page, I'm going to say women tab should be equal to this. Then I'll also create for women top, and the same for women hoodie. So let me get the value for them. Women hoodie, come on. So let me get the element locators for those. So for tops, just inspect, and this is tops. So copy that and I'll paste here. Then the same thing for the hoodies and sweatshirts. So I will do the same thing here. Inspect and get this. Copy everything and come here and add that. Now that's too long, so let me break it down. So it will still work. It's not an issue. I just, because there's a line demarcation here, and once your code is already spilling over, it's not so good. So it's not a good practice to do that. So now that we've done this, so let's use the parameterize here. So the first thing we'll do in here is we'll first create some arguments that will be added as session. So we say the page tab that we want to click, let's say the page section that we want to overrun rather, and the clothes type, the clothes that we want to get, the clothes type that we want to get. So after this, I'll create a list, like I said, a list of tuples. So let's do this. Let me separate it. So I think I've mentioned tuples and sets in the previous playlist where we talked about page object modeling. It is highly recommended that you watch that before you start this. But if you already have knowledge of all these things, you can just move ahead and do this. So we'll need to pass all of this as parameters first. in here, we need to pass all of this as parameters. Page section and the plot type, the third one, and they can replace the values here. The plot type goes here, and the page section I copied before goes here. So it's important to actually arrange these things in the order of where they are needed. So you can't just drop them as arguments randomly. It has to follow a particular pattern that you have created. So now we need to create those tuples. So in the first tuple we have home page, the men's tab, and from there we navigate to the men's tab, home page, the men's top. Then we click on the men's hoodie. So you say home page men's hoodie. Okay, and in the next one let's just copy this and change everything to women. So in the next one we just paste this. So we change this to women. Change this to women. Women tab. Then the women top and the women hoodie. Yes. So with this, what we expect is that this particular test would help us click into men's tab first, get to the product details section, and I will get to click the hoodie and we can see the list of hoodies that are available, and it will do the same thing again for women's tab. So let's run this and see. Yeah, let's hit enter and see. As you can see, it has done the same thing for women. Now, what is important to note here while you're trying to do this is understand your application. So which also emphasizes what I've always said in most of my videos, that manual tests can never be overemphasized. It is really important because you have to test your page manually, you have to test your application manually and know the behavior. So you will know when it is best to use parameterize. Take for instance, if after I've clicked here, let's stop this. If after I've clicked here, tops, and I come to hoodies and jackets, and if this is not showing anymore, I can't use parameterize because that test would not pass for it, except if I've introduced something called a fixture whereby I can create a setup and I can also create a teardown for each of my unit tests that I've created. So which means that for every time it launches the page, then I can see everything I need, run the test and log out, and exit it. But this particular test is really peculiar. It's different. So using a fixture here is not really applicable. I'll just discuss fixture. A better example of how to use fixture would have been if we used a test type like let me see, source demo. So if we use this, we can have the fixture where we can set it up, launch the page, and for each time when we launch the page, the actual test can be logging in. And once we've logged in, this is a sample login. Once we've logged in as a standard user, and we can click on login, then our other step would be to log out. So we can create a method that would help us log out. So we can have that as a setup and a teardown. So for every time, we can run a test and we can also get out of it. So why am I saying this? I'm saying this because if you don't understand your tests, if you don't understand them, if you've not tested manually thoroughly, you will not be able to know when to use a fixture or when to use a parameterize. Please, because of time and I don't want to bore people, If you feel that you would want a video on fixtures, let me know in the comment section, and I would gladly do a video on fixture and how to use fixture. And if you were able to get here and you found this particular video helpful, please do not forget to leave comments in the section, in the comment section. I'll respond to your questions as well. And do not forget again to like and subscribe. Thank you, and bye bye. And then so the next playlist I'll be doing will be about BDD with behave, which is an equivalent of a cucumber that is popularly used in Java and JavaScript framework. We will be using that soon. Bye bye.